But I remember I was small. I was like 93. My parents, they would like work all day and come back with their like salary in the dinars at that point of time, and they would just like rush into like the darkest corners of the capital of the city, and like kind of criminals try to like transfer the money that is losing 60% per day into Deutschmarks, so that you try to conserve at least a little bit. And we were like running to it, and I'm like, okay, why are we dealing with these shady people? Because if you go to the bank, they're gonna rip you off even further.
Welcome to Sat Chats, the Bitcoin podcast where we chat about sats. Sats are the smallest part of a Bitcoin, the same way pennies are the smallest part of a dollar. With Sat Chats, we are building the world's biggest Bitcoin welcome center to serve as your gateway to generational wealth. So, if you're brand new to Bitcoin, we want to chat about sats with you. Head to satchats.com to grab your slot in the studio today. I'm your host, Stuart, Bitcoin Maxi, who wears prescription sunglasses to protect you and your loved ones from my Bitcoin laser eyes.
And I'm your co-host, founder and CEO of Ithaca Hummus, Bitcoin smash buyer. Name's Chris, by the way, BTW. Whatever you're doing right now, stop doing it. Head to YouTube, go to Sat Chats, and smash the subscribe button the same way I smash buy Bitcoin. If you do, you'll be entered into our 1 million sats giveaway. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we will select one random subscriber to win 1 million sats. That's going to be an amazing day. I can't wait.
Oh, and it's getting close. So smash the subscribe now.
We are also opening up a Friday live show on YouTube as soon as we cross that 1,000 subscriber threshold. Help us get there. We're on the road to 99, the beloved.
Number 99, the beloved. Kristen, my wife.
We'd love to be live for that one. But we'll see. We'll see.
We shall see. It's up to the satillionaires out there. It's up to the satillionaires. Yep. It really is. It's in their hands.
It's out of my hands.
So today, the individual who's going to help us train for my big showdown with my wife is number 64, Oliver. Now, number 64, Oliver, comes to us through number 47, James. If you satillionaires can remember, James is the Bitcoin pharmacist with the laser eyes. He does the knee howdy, where you get sats back in exchange for your prescriptions. The guy was a legend. He's responsible for my LinkedIn profile photo. Go check it out and send me a connection request. He said, you know who needs to come on the show? My boy, Oliver. So Oliver is a Bitcoiner. We're going to be getting his Bitcoin story today. But before we do, Oliver, help our satillionaires out there get to know you a little bit.
Sorry, man. I was a little bit busy now hitting the subscribe button. I want those million sats, man. Make them millionaire.
Yeah, dude, Oliver wants to be a satillionaire because he knows what he's.
Yeah, we love it.
Be a satillionaire.
Yeah, I love that. Who wants to be a satillionaire, by the way? It needs to be a segment of our live show where we like ask question and whoever gets it in the chat first, we zap them sats or something.
So good.
So Oliver, tell us all about you, my friend.
Hello, guys. Thank you very much for having me on the show. My name is Oliver, and I'm a world traveler. I come from Macedonia. I spent the last 20 years in Germany. Went through the automotive world. Figured out, okay, this is kind of fun, but it's not the best. Let's change and orange pill the world with Bitcoin. And this is where I dove in like 2 years ago, all in. Financial energy, focus, all of my time, everything into Bitcoin, and I think that's the right way for me, and I hope it's going to be the right way for many others, changing the world for the better through Bitcoin. So let's dive in.
I love that story, by the way. Let's unpack that. So Macedonia is just north of Greece, correct?
What? Actually, okay, I'm impressed. I already am impressed. This is amazing. I'm surprised. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Isn't Alexander the Great actually from Macedonia?
Okay, so now if I say yes, I'm going to be killed by some of the Greek people. Yes, if I say no, then the Macedonians are coming after me. So I'm gonna like say no comment there.
No comment.
But yes.
So you grew up in Macedonia, and then how old were you when you left for Germany?
I was like 19-year-old, but the funny part is 93 is actually when I figured out. Well, I didn't really figure out. It took me like 30 years to figure out Bitcoin. But 93 was the time where I guess like the the beginning of my Bitcoin journey, because that was the year when in Macedonia and ex-Yugoslavia we had inflation, and we're talking about here like, oh yeah, 3%, 5%. We know like the story about inflation is maybe not the best thing, but how about 63% per day?
Oh,
Per
This was
day.
inflation per day, guys. This is like I think like it's number one inflation in the world, like for the I don't know for since history. It's where something that people that have not went through hyperinflation cannot really fathom. But I remember I was small. I was like 93. But I remember when my parents, they would like work all day and come back with their like salary in the dinars at that point of time. And they would just like rush into like the darkest corners of the capital of the city, and like kind of criminals try to like transfer the money that is losing 63% per day into Deutschmarks, so that you kind of like try to conserve at least a little bit. And we were like running to it. And I'm like, okay, why are we dealing with these shady people? Because if you go to the bank, they're going to rip you off even further. So this sounds like a story from the movies, but basically this is the story that happens in like hyperinflating states. And I've experienced this firsthand, and I must say it's terrible. So thank God for Bitcoin, guys.
So let's dive into that a little bit. You said in 1993 Macedonia had just left Yugoslavia and become its own state. Okay.
Yeah, so this is like where everything, it was a split, and there were wars, and you don't know who is paying, who is buying. So it's a total mess. So the country's government, not only from Macedonia, but all of the split from Yugoslavia, is kind of like falling apart, and no one knows what's happening. And when when no one knows what's happening, when you turn off the light, people start like pulling. And I actually don't know what caused the hyperinflation, but I know it was there, and it was destroying people. It was terrible. I would go today and buy bread, and I remember we had like these red notes, like it was dinars, and they had like 10, like it was a 10 dinar, whatever. You buy bread, and like what it felt like in 2 weeks, I would go and buy the same thing, would not cost like 10, but it had like two more zeros, it was like 1,000. And then after a while, they would pound so many zeros behind on the notes, like on the money, that they would not even print. You could not. So today I buy like for 10 dinars bread, in 2 weeks for 1,000, in another 2 weeks for 1,000,000. Then you like stop. Okay, forget about the money, number of the money. We're just gonna refer to it by the color. So the bread would cost like 2 red color notes. If you want to buy milk, it's gonna be one blue one. If you want to buy meat, it's gonna be, you need to pull out the purple ones, because people lose count of how many zeros come behind the money in such a hyperinflating currency. And you can imagine what happens to like people's wealth at that time. It's getting destroyed.
So both your mom and dad were working during the day to make any amount of any color note possible. And they would come up, the first thing they would do would be to find a black market money changer who could take what were effectively melting ice cubes and convert them into the Deutsche Mark, which was much more stable.
Yes. And
they
thought
a daily conversion of cash.
Exactly.
wow.
Which is nuts. I don't know if it was like once a week they got paid or however it worked, but I remember as if it was yesterday, just running, like getting in the car after work, boom, let's go to the darker corner of the city and try to like convert this. Because if you go to the bank, 63% is down.
And you were a teenager at this time.
Well, I was a little bit younger than a teenager, but yeah.
I mean, you were a kid. You were a kid. How did it
A
feel?
kid, man. I had no idea what's going on. I just like realized, okay, this money is changing like crazy, and we go to the corner and we like talk to these shady people, and that's why this is where my Bitcoin journey started. After like now 30 years later, I realized, wait a second, they were actually trying to conserve their financial energy by putting it into a container that is not leaking as hard.
Okay.
That was what they were trying to do.
How did it feel to be a kid growing up in hyperinflation?
So I think I was I don't want to say ignorant, but it was kind of okay. It was communism. It was you would not. I felt great. I had a wonderful childhood, but I remember the worried faces of my parents who were experiencing this.
Mm-hmm.
And and I remember the rush and the push to get into a container that is not leaking. I remember that part like if it was yesterday. So this is something that like burnt into my mind, that I now understand what's going on. The second part, we at Bitcoin and we talk, okay, the money in your bank is neither your money, nor it's in your bank, nor you can put. So everyone's like, yeah. That's like people just talk about it. Okay, it's not 1993, but it's 1995 or something. And my grandparents actually had, I don't know, a significant amount of money of like earning for 40 years put in the bank, because like now the bank is the safe haven of Deutschmarks. Guys, for whatever reason, there was like, again, the countries are falling apart from one day to the other. The bank sees the money. And they're like, but just it's like just imagine savings from 40 years of work that my grandparents put to the side, got saved without no notice, guys. It's just like, yeah, okay, so tomorrow you don't own this money. It's controlled by the government. And again, I remember this now retrospectively, because I remember the day when there was like everyone was freaking out in my family. I didn't know what's going on, because I'm like 12. But I now understand, like through the Bitcoiner's eyes, not your keys, not your coin. No. So the money in your bank is not yours, and it's not working. And typically when I tell this story, people are like, this is bad, but but you come like from communism, and this will never happen in a real world. This is something, it's a third world. Don't worry, here in the US, you're safe. Or Germany, don't worry about it, you're safe. 2021, Germany. I'm, by the way, also a German citizen, and my mom, who I promise, guys, my mom is not a criminal. She had an account in one of the leading German banks, Deutsche Bank. You probably know. Everyone knows. So it's the most stable German bank they have.
Well, it used
My
to
mom
be.
had like a bank account for like, I don't know, 20 years there. But she lives in Macedonia, and I said, I promise, she's not a criminal. She's a fine lady. And guys, from one day to the other, the same story that happened to our family, 1995. She gets a mail, a real letter from Deutsche Bank in Macedonia, that if she doesn't pick up her whatever amount of money she has from the bank, they're just going to close the account, and she's going to lose the money. And I, by the way, have the letter here like illuminated, so I can pull it out. But the story is, you might think, okay, yeah, this guy is like nuts. He like started like his journey in hyperinflating country, and the bank seized it, but this is not going to happen to me. It happened 3 years ago, basically, in Germany, in the best German bank that you can find. So no one is safe, guys. Let's. This is where I'm like, okay, guys, let's find. Where's the life raft? Give me the life raft. I want to jump on it. And this is kind of like the long story of why I started going deep down the Bitcoin rabbit hole and understanding that like what happened once in a hyperinflating currency or a country can happen everywhere. And I really hope for the US and everyone listening to this podcast that they don't have to experience this because it's not nice. But I don't think we should take a chance. That's what we have Bitcoin.
Yeah, like what was the reason for the Macedonian government to take your grandparents' money, and what was the reason for the German bank to try to take your mom's money?
Oh, great question. And unfortunately, the question has no answer. In both cases, the Yugoslavian or the Macedonian government just said, okay, we need the money now. We're going to take it. It doesn't belong to you now. Because, like, again, the countries was like struggling. And they just said, okay, we're just going to take the money. And by the way, I remember that when I was growing up, I was told stories that something like this would happen like 100 years ago when people who had like gold, that like when the government would come, they would like, or like whoever comes, like they will like take the gold if like you're bad. So now in Macedonia, they just took the money because the government needed the money. So that's the story about Macedonia. Now you're asking about Germany, which is a plausible question. I had the same question to Deutsche Bank, and I asked in German so they understand. And I went like through the different levels of the bank to figure out. The answer was we just have to close it. There was no answer, guys. There was no plausible, yeah, you did like this fraud, or you were bad, or you had like something. There's like, well, no, unfortunately, we have to close this. It doesn't work. So no answer. For there is no reason behind it.
Man. So this is such a great story, Oliver, because it's very difficult to explain to someone in America why any amount of inflation is unacceptable. And I try to spool out examples like when Zimbabwe went through hyperinflation, when the Weimar Republic of Germany did so after World War I. Hilarious to think about getting into Deutsche Marks in 1993, when in 1921, they were trying to get out of that daggum currency. I wasn't familiar with Macedonian hyperinflation, but now I need to jump in there as well. When I try to trot out these examples of hyperinflation, they're like, yeah, but it's not happening over here. And I'm like, no. What I'm trying to tell you is that when that inflation is a problem, and when you dial it up to the extreme, that's where you can see just how bad of a problem it is. But then we've got to dial it back down to 2%, 3%, 7% that we're experiencing here and say, this is bad too. Why do you think it's so hard for people to kind of make that leap in their mind?
Oh man, I think it's two things. First thing, like we as humans think linearly, right? So like 3%, it's not so bad. Like 7%, well, it's 7%. So if it's linear, it's like we just like think from A to B, and like linear equations we can kind of follow, like understand what's going on. But inflation, it's not linear. If you have 7% inflation, the next year it's 7% on the 7% that you already had, and the 7% on the 7% of the so it's basically exponential function. So, and we simply don't think like this. So people don't realize that if they have like 7% inflation, that or even 7% inflation is basically your purchasing power is going to go down by 50% in 10 years. It's like 70 divided by the inflation number, right? And you're like, yeah, but 10 years is so far. I'm like, yeah, 10 years is, well, it's not that far. And by the way, in another 10 years, it's going to be half of it as well. So you start with $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever. In 10 years, down to 5. In another 10 years, you're down to 2.5. In another 10 years, you're down to like $1,000. So you destroyed your purchasing power by 90% within like 30 years. And this is, by the way, the lifetime of most people work like 30, 40 years. So basically everything that they are doing is getting destroyed. There is no way to like bring your financial energy that you have worked all your life to the future generations in a way of money, because it's like a melting ice cube. It doesn't work. And most people, simply because we think linearly, 7%, 3%, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And when you hit them with these numbers, they're like, okay, is this guy? So this is, wait, no. It's, this guy must be wrong, because like we've heard everyone is saying 3% is fine, 7% is great. So this guy must be like, something. His math is off probably. So I'm just gonna keep on going my path. And most do. Yeah, we need to help them.
So, where were you when you first heard about Bitcoin?
I was actually in Germany, and no, actually, I don't even. I like, I've heard like Bitcoin here and there, like from as a name, but the real wake up call came for me 2020. And again, I don't know if I'm going too deep, but maybe this also helps people understand. Like, I have another story from 2008. Might be interesting.
Yeah. We feel like people who are brand new to Bitcoin want to learn by listening to people's stories who have gone through it. So yeah, if you have a good story from 2008, because we all know what kind of year that was. Let's hear it, man. Let's put that as an interim step between Macedonia and hyperinflation and when you first found Bitcoin.
Perfect. So 2008. I mean, okay. So first of all, I came from Macedonia to Germany, studied like two different universities, and like grinded all the way, and like worked two different jobs to like kind of finance myself. In 2007, I started working. Great. I have a job as an engineer. I'm driving these crazy cars because I'm a vehicle test engineer for Continental, and I love it. And it's great. The only problem is that every day I have to travel from where I live to work, but changing like two trains and a bus and whatnot, and it takes me an hour to go and an hour to go back from work. So I'm working like for a year. This is 2007, and over like sometime 2008, I was able to accumulate 3,500 euros, which was at that point of time, it was like incredible amount of money for me. So 3,500, like, whoa, man, I have real money now. And now I was at the dilemma, because I was driving an hour to work and an hour back to work. I can buy myself a scooter, like a small motorbike, to drive to work in like 15 minutes, be there, drive back, and I'm like, I can move around easily. That was one option. The other option is, everyone remember what happened in 2008, the Continental stock, from whatever level it was, dropped to 10 euros. So I was like, okay, I can either buy a scooter or I can buy this stock. It's great. And I bought the scooter. Okay. So I bought the scooter for $3,500. I thought it was a great idea. And guess what happened like in a year and a half? The Continental stock that was $10 went to 200. And my scooter got older. So this is the lesson. So I'm like, okay. So this is like the lesson: investing in an asset. Well, maybe it's kind of asset, or investing in something that loses value. So I'm like, man, this sucks. This is terrible. I would have bought like 20 scooters and like still have some money left off. But doesn't matter. This was burning. It was painful. But and I went on with my life. And of course, I continued like saving in the fiat terms, because this is so important and it's great. You have to save, because like inflation, all of this stuff was not like, even though I went through hyperinflation, it didn't hit me. And then 2020 came, and you know what happened then? And you know what happened with the world of stocks and everything? Everything crashed. And like this stinge that I had like for 12 years, 2008, I made the wrong decision. I'm like, wait a second. I know how this movie ends. it's going to change. Something's going to happen. It's not going to stay down forever. And this is where I took like all my financial energy and put it into stocks and started like figuring out like how this worked, because I was like, guys, this is repeating. This is ridiculous. They're going to like goes up and down. Why is it down? Why is it up? And then I slowly started like going into like, okay, what's inflation? What is this thing like Bitcoin? Why is everything going up? And this is where my basically I started my rabbit hole journey. And I thought like stocks are good because I, of course, when I bought like at the bottom and it continued going down, but eventually it recovered. But Bitcoin recovered much better. I'm like, wait a second, why is it so much better? What's going on? Why is it? And this is where I really slowly started, going to my doctor to get the prescription glasses for the laser eyes.
Yeah.
After spending thousands of hours into it, and figuring out that actually like yes, you can buy stocks, and you're gonna float with the market. You're gonna float with the inflation. You're gonna float with basically how money is being printed. But if you want to get away with it, you're gonna feel like you're rowing as hard as you can, and you're like all sweaty and everything, but you're like, I'm just staying in the same spot. It's not changing anything. Let's do something different. And this is where I discovered Bitcoin. I sold everything I had, all my stocks, everything. I talked to my wife. She was like, "Oh, well, I don't know." I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And luckily, I have an amazing supporting wife. We went all into Bitcoin, and haven't regretted it, because Bitcoin is the most scarce conservational asset of energy that you can find today in the world. And I just hope more people get to know about it.
So what were, and by the way, I love that image of earning and saving in fiat is like swimming in the ocean. Earning in fiat and investing in traditional assets, it's like having a boat that goes on top of the water. And as that tide goes up and down, so do you.
Yeah.
But earning in fiat and storing it in Bitcoin is like having a spaceship that gets you out of the water, into the air, past the air, outer space, whole other planet. You ain't even, where's the water? The water's so far behind me, I don't even know where this ocean is anymore. And I love that kind of visual analogy there, because Bitcoin is an order of magnitude or several orders of magnitude better than that boat that's on top of the water. Because you're still touching the water no matter how good your boat is. You need to get up and away. So when you were first studying Bitcoin, what were some of the things that you wrestled with? Some of the hangups or the roadblocks or what were you afraid of when you were researching it? Like, is it real? Is it backed by, what was that kind of wrestling match like with Bitcoin?
I think like the biggest, I would say, problem is to differentiate the signal from the noise. I'm like, oh yeah, Bitcoin, this sounds great. It goes up. Oh, but look at this other coin. This goes up as well. Oh, but what happened with this coin? Oh, this one goes up as well. So you're like blended, because if you go to any kind of exchange that is not Bitcoin only exchange, you get like posted with shiny objects. Oh, look at this coin. Just went up like 15% on the day. Bitcoin went just like 5%. And look at today, this other thing went up 25%, and Bitcoin went just 3%. And this other coin, and you're like, wait a second. So there's like, is this a whole new universe that I'm discovering? This is great. So it's like stocks. Yeah, Bitcoin is fine, but these guys are overperforming. And then this is like just the first look. And if you like don't scratch the surface, then you're like, wait a second, you're totally lost. But if you do a little bit of research and see, wait a second, so are this Bitcoin and like all these other coins in the same bracket? You realize, no, Wait a second. This is a totally different animal. We're not talking. It's like putting apples and bananas in the same basket and saying they're both. No, it's not. It's a totally different animal. It's a totally different asset class. It's a totally different way of conserving your energy for forever. That's Bitcoin, and there is no issuer. It's a commodity. There is no one who can control it. It's infinitely safe when it comes to like it's the safest network in the world that we have. Or just taking your financial energy and going to a casino, and you can do both, by the way, if you like. But it's throwing both, like thinking about yourself, your family, your grandchildren, your grandchildren, and thinking long term. And how do you make the world a better place? How do you make the better world a better place for the people you love, and the one and your friends? This is Bitcoin. This is your, as you said, like a spaceship, space life raft that takes you there. Or you can take your financial energy and go gamble in a casino, and you win some, you lose some. You probably want to lose most because the casino is not there to like make you win. It's it's to make the people who founded the casino win. And yeah, if you like doing it, sure, go for it. I would not recommend doing it with your hard earned money or your family savings or your children's savings account for the university. That's why I'm an extreme big proponent of Bitcoin, and I really hope people understand the difference, to differentiate the signal from the noise. Because when what I try to like compare, Bitcoin is great, but like, you talk to people, but we can, this coin is also great and it's safe. And it's like, sure, it's safe. But just compare the financial energy that is in Bitcoin and the protection of the network that we have now in the terahashes. Is like having a power energy of a nuclear plant. So this is the energy that you have in Bitcoin. And the coin that you're like talking about that is so great and it's so secure is like the energy that you have in a small ant. And yeah, they both kind of have energy, but it's like it's uncomparable. And yeah, so that's why I'm sorry, I maybe like went off tangent, but the point is, what I hope for most people to understand, at least kind of be triggered to understand, that there is a very big difference between Bitcoin and everything else. Not only these other coins, it's a totally different animal.
How do you feel with the way he's referring to things like financial energy and like conserving your financial energy in Bitcoin, or the dinar being like a leaky bucket? Like how do you feel when Oliver's kind of almost abstracting money out into this like financial energy, and is kind of talking about conserving it and storing it and stuff like that?
Well, it certainly creates a cleaner bond between my human energy. When you think about my time and my resources and my ability to work and what I can exchange that for. And so I think it's like a common denominator.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's what I like, where it's like, because we're so trapped in fiat terms. Everybody I know, the only thing they can think about is like dollars. You know what I mean? But to kind of abstract it into energy, well, where do I want to put my energy? People really understand that. Well, where do I want to put my time and energy? Well, I want to put my time and energy into my family. I want to put my time and energy into my health. And when you say, well, do you want to put your time and energy into something that's worthless you can't control? Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, I'd love to do that, right? That nobody would ever agree to put their time and energy into something that's worthless that they cannot control. And yet we're doing it every day with our fiat currency, which here in America is called the US dollar. It's insane. How? How did we get here, right? Let me ask you this. Did your wife have any hangups? Well, an even better question. Did you even let your wife participate, or were you like, listen, lady, we're going right now, whether you're, did you put the man in mandate and just do it? Or did you actually try to, did you?
Let me see if she's watching. Let me see if she's, yeah, I did it. Yeah, for sure. Okay. She's not looking. It's fine. I can say it. No, man, I really think, for me, transparency is power, and clarity creates confidence. So if you are able to bring your loved ones, friends, or whoever else you want to join you on your journey, I think you have to paint the picture and create clarity so that they have confidence to follow you. And my wife spent a good amount of time, researching this topic with me. And yeah, she didn't spend like 1,000 hours like but she understands the concept. And I think this is what I guess you guys are also trying to help through this podcast. Start somewhere to have a base understanding. Start somewhere where, when it comes to conserving your energy, I have this is my phone. It's my wonderful wife here. My phone's battery goes I use my phone and the battery then goes off after a while, right? So this is why I bought this piece of battery that you can plug into your charger, and it charges energy and it conserves your energy. So basically this plug, the USB plug, is our work. This is, we get this is our energy that we're putting into the market. Now you can plug it either into a battery like this that is leaking, and when I want to charge my phone, there's nothing inside because it just lost all the energy with 10% inflation per year. This is what happens if you put it into a bank. Or you plug your energy into a battery that doesn't leak. And then whenever I want to charge my phone, I can just plug it in and it's working. And this is for me. I can plug it in today. I can plug it in tomorrow. I can plug it in 2 years from now. It's not going to leak, and I know it's going to provide at least the amount that I put in. And this is something that that's why my wife understands the concept and follows me on this crazy journey that I really revolutionize the way how we see the world, and I hope it's going to help other people also realize it.
I love that. I can just see you being like, babe, it's we're gonna be charging up our iPhones with Bitcoin, or the purple notes in Macedonia, but to Germany, I'm gonna do it, babe. Let me do the Bitcoin. Let me just do the Bitcoin. It's gonna be good. It's good. That's how I feel sometimes. You know what I mean? So tell me just a little bit about what has happened now that you are fully into Bitcoin for the past 2 some odd years. You've got a company beyond the checkout.
Yep.
Kind of give us a little bit of juice on what it's like for you now that you're fully into Bitcoin, and what is this business that you got going on here?
So the idea behind the business is it has many different layers, but I'm going to start talking to you as a Bitcoiner, and I'm going to start talking to you my main idea with this company is I really want to get as many people in the world exposed to Bitcoin as possible, because it is the life raft for everyone to get to try to at least understand and try to find a way where they can conserve their financial energy. So what is this company about? Well, basically, we're putting Bitcoin rewards into everyday products. So what does this mean? So this means that you can have, have a water like this, and you it says like on the water, okay, scan and get up to $100. If you have just water that just regular water, or you have like something that incentivizes you to scan and get Bitcoin, you'll most probably buy the one that has like Bitcoin. Or you can have an energy drink or like an energy bar. And or this might be, I just happened to run across like I don't know if you've heard about like these guys.
Whoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
I don't know if I don't know if you've seen it, but by the way, do you have like out of these two, which one do you prefer?
That's a really tough call. It depends on the day.
I'll go lemon
I
dill.
know.
Lemon dill.
I will at the moment, right now. Just give me one. Which one?
French onion for me.
Okay. So let's see what happened. Like in I just peeled up because I also love the French onion. I was like, okay, let me just try this one, and I opened it, and it had like this here. I was like, wait a second, what's going on here? And,
oh,
yeah, so I'm like, okay. It said like, okay, you can win up to $100 by scanning the QR code.
Absolutely.
Wow, this sounds great. It's amazing. I get to taste like my favorite hummus, and I can scan and get up to $100. And do I try it, or do you want to try it?
No, I mean, show us how this works, man.
Oh.
Okay, perfect. So here's the deal, guys. And because I'm not trying to like explain how the company works, it's gonna say something like this: oh, congratulations, you just won like 150 cents. I just scanned this. I didn't do anything, right? So, and then do you want to claim? Do you want to claim? Yeah, of course I want to claim this. And you press claim. Press claim. Okay, perfect. So then it says, okay, great, interesting. So this is the hummus, and it's great because like it's revolutionized the hummus. It's committed to freshness, bold flavors, and whatnot. I'm like, oh, this is sound interesting. What else can I find here? Then I press on the next one. Then it tells me a little bit more about the product so that I can understand it better. And then I press on the next one. And again, it educates me about like, yeah, maybe I got the French onion here, but I guess they have other flavors that I should try, or they're coming up with some other stuff that I was not even aware of. And I'm like, okay, give me my Bitcoin now. And they're like, oh yeah, just 1 second. Can you like answer a question? Which one of these do you like best?
Oh,
I'm like, yeah, sure.
Research.
I love the French onion best. I love it. What aspects of the hummus do you really like? And well, I actually love the fresh and bold flavors. That's my favorite.
wow.
Boom. I go further, and then you basically end up on a okay. So my internet is a little bit bad here. Sorry, because I have like thousands of rewards here. But basically, you end up like on a screen where you can like kind of follow your rewards, and we also I will not go too deep into it, but basically we teach you how to withdraw this to your own custody.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
So-
I'm gonna get
so
you in
they-
touch with Dennis on my team.
Oh, you
And-
just got him hard.
Yeah, that was great.
That was a hard hook into the lip right
Dude,
there.
and by the way, let Oliver be a shining example for anyone else out there
yeah.
who has a Bitcoin business of any kind
Mm-hmm.
that sees some utility for Ithaca Hummus. Come on the show
Yeah.
and just do your demo right here live.
Yeah.
On SatChat.
For real.
That was awesome, Oliver.
Golly. I want Sat
Perfect.
for the stuff I buy so badly now. I mean, when Oliver came on, I'm sorry, when James came on the show, I was like, James, I wish I were sick, because then I could go get a prescription and get some Sat crack. You know what I mean? Like, what does a guy got to do to catch a cold around here? But you know, with you, I can go get that. Man, I might even be like, babe, I'm going to the grocery store. Like,
I'm not buying anything unless I can get beyond the checkout.
I'm only
Sats.
doing beyond the checkout, which, by the way, am I sensing, you know, that beyond the checkout is abbreviated into BTC?
Of course, my friend.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa! Woo!
Of course, you got it, man. Let me see if I can. So this is our logo.
Yo.
Of course, if you highlight the BTCs, of course, BTC.
love
Wowie
that.
zowie.
Wow.
Holy
Yeah.
smokes.
Yeah.
Okay. So absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Let's jump into well, first of all, there's so much that we can cover here. I want to know about the reasons why you went to Germany as a young man. I want to know, precisely, what that Bitcoin rabbit hole looked like for you. Where did you go? Where did you learn from? All that stuff. But we're never going to fit it all into one chat about sats. So we ask each of our guests if they'd be willing to come back on in 9 months to give us an update on their Bitcoin baby. Would you be willing to do that for us?
Of course, guys. I would love to. I will come next week.
So we love that. Let's do a recap of Oliver's chat about sats here today. The young man was born in Macedonia. Where is Macedonia? It's north of Greece. Duh.
Dummy.
Now, who was born there? I'll say it. Alexander the Great was born there. Come at me, Greece. Let me see where you at, Greece. Why don't you come on the show, Greece? Try to convince me Alexander the Great from Greece. Nah, bruh. And what happened? He grew up in this world that was splitting away from Yugoslavia. The dinar was the currency. He had a great childhood because his parents worked hard and they were good parents, but guaranteed they were stressed out. Guaranteed the wrinkles were on the forehead because each time they got paid in dinars, they would hop in the whip and go Tokyo drifting off to a dark corner of the city to change out for Deutsche Marks, right? For German marks. Incredible. And they were looking at a currency that was losing 63% of its value every day and trying to exchange it for a currency that wasn't losing as much value. So the concept of adopting a harder money in exchange for an easier money was already there by 1993 for Oliver. But where did he go? He went to Germany. He got into the car industry. He's hitting up that Continental. He's testing those cars. He's taking an hour to get into work. He's like, I don't want to take an hour to get into work. I got 3,500 euros at the time, right? Which were probably marks, actually, right? It probably wasn't euros by that time. But I'm going to take my 3,500 marks. and I could buy 350 shares of Continental. I could buy 350 shares of Continental because it's going to go to, 350, 3,500 at 10 would be 350 shares, and they go to 220. Yeah, I mean, you would have had $70,000. So he could have taken $3,500, turned it into $70,000. Oliver got a scooter. And what a stunning comparison between something that goes up in value and something that doesn't. Now his commute to and from work got better, but that scooter ain't with Oliver today. And we learned our lesson there. So getting into that almost like just a few years ago, really, Bitcoin came on the scene. And you heard about Bitcoin like we all did. We hear about it, like, what's Bitcoin? I don't know about that. But you heard about it. You started studying it for real. How do I separate the signal from the noise? I want Bitcoin because Bitcoin is Bitcoin, and every single crypto out there is like, well, come have some crypto. Crypto is crypto. Crypto casino. Gamble it away. Big gains. And what we say here is, look, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Crypto is kryptonite. Don't do it. So where do you want to put your financial energy? You want to put it into Bitcoin because Bitcoin is to the US dollar as the German mark was to the dinar, except even better than that, because the leaky bucket of the German mark, the Bitcoin, there is no leak. Bitcoin is airtight, watertight. It's locked up. Okay. So just like the battery pack on the back of your smartphone there, put your financial energy into Bitcoin and store it there. And then when you need some financial energy, go get it from Bitcoin, right? Because we're not doing that right now. Some people, the charging cord is just dropping off a cliff. It's not even going into anywhere. Some people might be putting it into their iPhone, but when the iPhone's done charging, it can only go up to 100%. It can't even take all your financial energy, right? But that battery pack of Bitcoin has as much storage as you need. So what did he do? He went all in on Bitcoin. He talked to his wife a little bit, and then just put it all. And it was like, we're doing it. And started himself a company beyond the checkout, BTC. Then he melted Chris's face off with the under the lid demonstration. And Chris was like opening the Ark of the Covenant in Indiana Jones, and his face just melted off. I watched it. It came to eyeballs, fell off, the cheek dissolved. He was like, and yes. I mean, yeah. He's like, ah. If this was the Shark Show, he'd be like, yes. Yeah. Right. And I want sats for my hummus so bad. I want to buy stuff and get sats back. That's what I want. We are going to taste some hummus here after that big old journey. And then we're going to make you an offer.
All right. So we have selected for you the black bean variety of Ithaca hummus. Exceptional.
Okay.
It's like a taco in a dip form.
So fat glob here. And this could potentially be the first virtual session where the guest on the other side of the camera has Ithaca hummus and can eat some with us.
I have like I just, because like this one is very sweet for me because I got the sats, you know, so like, of course, the
he's got like a carrot.
Where'd that come from?
Of course I'm doing it with you guys. I have a carrot.
Yes. All right. Let's all crunch together here.
Let's do it, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Great job, guys.
Great batch.
So good.
Every time. I love it.
Excellent.
So we had the black bean. You had the French onion. I love that. How's that French onion treating you over there, Oliver?
Oh man, it's amazing. And again, I don't know if it's because this time we had sats inside, but it's so sweet. It's sweet. It's great.
Oh,
I love it.
The flavor is even more bold and fresh when there's sats on the bottom of the lid, right?
Sats in there.
It almost smells like Bitcoin. Yeah, so it's great. I love it. This one doesn't smell like onions. It smells like Bitcoin. It's great.
Oh my God. All right, now.
All right, so in addition to the hummus, which you provided for yourself, we believe in exchanging value for value here on Sat Chat. So as a small token of our appreciation for your time, we are going to offer you your choice of a gift from Sat Chats to you. You get $50 in US dollars or $50 worth of Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now, the exchange rate is $101,300.
I mean, I gotta tell you, Oliver, this is the first time we've been up at 6 since January, I feel like.
Which sats per dollar is 987.
We're down below 1,000.
This is going to be the lowest sats that we've ever given away here. You get 59,350 sats or $50. What's it going to be?
And I thought I'm going to treat you. Hell yeah! Forget about take the dirty dollars out of my face.
Get out of here. See ya.
Yes.
Get them dirty dollars out. Let's stack those sats, dude.
I'm gonna stack sats. Woo! Thank you guys. Thank you. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna put 100% of those sats to work into our Bitcoin rewards. Hopefully we'll figure out something with the hummus, but we have to keep on orange peeling the world and kind of like, you know, the Bitcoin ecosystem.
I love that. All right. So Chris is going to go call Dennis right now because he can't wait. I'm going to close out the show with Oliver here. 49,350 sats. Incredible.
Ooh.
And I love that because, so you're number 64, and that's going to be your number forever, right? And you bring our score to 59 guests who have stacked the sats, along with 5 who need a little bit more time. It's all good. They'll come back on in 9 months. We'll keep working. You know what I mean? Nobody gets it the first time. It's all good, Oliver, right? We said nothing but love over here. Okay.
Sure.
So this is the part of the show where we ask you satillionaires for your value in exchange for ours. What do we value? YouTube subscriptions. Smash the subscribe button the same way Chris buys Bitcoin. Do it now because you need to be among the first 999 plus one subscribers in order to participate in the million sats giveaway. Not 49,350, talking about 20x what Oliver stacked today. We will stack for you and make you a satillionaire instantly. Do not be subscriber number 999 plus two. That would hurt very badly. We're also going to unlock the live show Friday mornings, 10 a.m. We're all going to jump online and chat about sats as a big old family of satillionaires. Oliver's going to be in the chat telling us every single thing we can buy out there to also get sats back. And I'm fully only going to purchase those things now. I'm like, honey, number 99, Kristen, we're only buying things that come with some sats. That's it. I don't care what it is. And I don't care what I need to cut out of my diet while Oliver gets this thing off the ground. I'm only buying things that give me sats back. We are on the road to number 99, Kristen. So we appreciate all the ladies that you can send our way. And we really appreciate you all joining us here for Oliver's show. Remember, Sat Chats is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Also, our guests' views are their own. Thanks so much, Satillionaires. We'll see you tomorrow.